I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Surface analysis across the middle of the country shows a cold front making some progress, knocking on the door of Chicago. The front actually runs from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, back through just south of Milwaukee and then down into southern parts of Iowa, just south of the I-80 corridor, over to Omaha and then along I-80 through Nebraska. This front is going to be a focal point for some action, I think, later this afternoon. We already saw one line of showers and thunderstorms fire off a little bit ahead of what I was thinking earlier this morning across northern Indiana, northern Illinois. I think that's going to be the hot zone through this afternoon as well. Some severe weather threats all the way back along the I-80 corridor into Iowa. I think we could see hail be the biggest threat, but gusty winds, of course, are not out of the question either. That's just, I think, that's the undercard. That's the fight undercard, if you will. Look back to the west. We're starting to see some pretty good thunderstorms coming together now in South Dakota, up into southern parts of North Dakota. Good line of showers and thunderstorms back through the Nebraska Panhandle and into northeast Colorado as well. Low pressure is sitting just to the south of Goodland, Kansas. We've also got a low in central Wyoming. And if you want to really get technical, there's a good strong low down in southern New Mexico as well. I think all of these start to come together and will develop into a very nice low pressure circulation over the northern half of the plains within the next 12 to 24 hours, moving eastward into the western Corn Belt. I'm looking for good rains, moderate to heavy rains across Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Iowa, at least initially. And then this frontal complex continues to push east and drag south on into the end or the beginning of the weekend. I think the first wave of this action probably clears the eastern Corn Belt by early Saturday morning. However, we've got a blocking high pressure dome that's starting to develop over the southeastern United States. So that's going to slow the southern progression of this front as the low pushes east-northeast. So if you get what I'm saying here, that boundary is going to kind of stall across the Ohio Valley, back through Missouri and into maybe central Oklahoma or at least south central Kansas. And that's where the low currently in New Mexico starts to come into play. I think we're going to start to see pulses of energy come out of the central to southern plains up across the Corn Belt. Second one comes through probably Sunday into Monday. Then we've got action popping up along the same superhighway, if you will, for moisture right on through most of next week. We are not changing our forecast for the Corn Belt at all. Most of the Corn Belt, I'd say 80%, looking at 1 to 2.5 inches of rainfall coverage as you go from this Friday on through next Friday. Back in the hard red winter wheat belt in the plains, also 1/2 to 2 inches easily. And I would also say that you're going to have to look for some stronger thunderstorms, maybe to put some locally higher amounts above 2 inches in parts of central and eastern Kansas. I think the farther west you go, western Kansas, eastern Colorado, western parts of Oklahoma, maybe we're going to be to the lower end of that range, 1/2 to 1 inch. We'll see. But there's plenty of thunderstorm action that's going to be firing off. That's the short-term part of the forecast. As we go longer term, latest model information here doesn't look all that spectacular to me. I was hoping we'd put together some drier days back-to-back once we got past the end of next week. And I do see in the Corn Belt maybe a dry day or two for the 19th, 20th. But then we've got a front that tries to sneak in around the 21st, 22nd. It's not that big, but it would be moisture. And right now, then another day or two of dryness after that, followed by another strong front around the 24th into the 25th. So I guess I'm not as keen on saying we're going to be able to look at dryness developing large scale. As we move toward the end of the forecast period, the GFS model does try and hit at a ridge building again across the nation's midsection, which would boost temperatures and also maybe give us a threat of steering the moisture farther to the north. But the past few ridges that have been shown on the GFS have fallen apart after a couple of days of new solutions come out. I don't see any reason why this one would be different right now, mainly because I'm not looking at any excessive heat building in over the longer haul. That's what we see right now here domestically. We'll keep an eye on the moisture here short term. Again, severe weather possible, hail, gusty winds, and definitely a chance for some stronger rains over the eastern Corn Belt later this afternoon. Most of it we think is going to be I-70 northward. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.